This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
We have only one Earth, so we need to take care of her. That's the predominant Earth Day message, and these days more and more people are making Earth Day every day. We'll talk about it on inStudio, which begins right now. Spring has sprung. Hard to believe it's April already. And April brings with it many things, including Earth Day. Now, Earth Day is an event to increase public awareness of the world's environmental problems and what we can all do to help. Begun in 1970, the message of Earth Day continues to spread. And Earth Day every day is something we can all participate in. For this edition of inStudio, we've gathered together a wonderful group of guests to help give us some ideas and inspiration. So to talk about how the City of Pensacola is taking care of our environment and working to make every day Earth Day, Mayor Grover Robinson. Grover Robinson IV is a seventh-generation Pensacolian. He grew up in Escambia County. Mayor Robinson has an extensive history of service to the Northwest Florida community, and prior to taking the reins of mayor last year, Grover served as an Escambia County Commissioner from 2006 to 2018. Grover Robinson also served on the City of Pensacola Planning Board from 2002 to 2005. And joining Mayor Robinson in our first segment is Brian Cooper. Brian works with the City of Pensacola, and he's the Director of Parks and Recreation. Brian oversees many, many, many city programs, facilities, and green spaces. So welcome to both of you, gentlemen. I appreciate you being
Sherri,
here.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so happy to have you. Grover, you just took the reins, what, 4 months ago?
4 months ago. It's hard to believe, but it's gone by. But we've been able to get out there and do a transition report. And one of the segments that we wanted to focus on was environment. We clearly believe we have a great environment here in Northwest Florida, but there are some historical legacies that we might not have always treated the way we wanted to treat it. So the ideas are, how do we repair it? And then really begin, how do we look to the future? Because we're going to have to do some things differently in the future than we do them today. And how can we be better stewards as we move forward? But all of that is in that transition report. We plan to implement all of it. We won't do it all at once, but we do have some plans as we move forward and begin to make improvements in all 11 areas, but one of them certainly environment. And we want to do our part as far as this Earth Day.
As, for instance, we've gotten rid of some things at City Hall.
Yeah, we have. We stepped in day one, and I'm not a big fan of styrofoam cups, so I said that was easy. We banned styrofoam cups. We've begun placing water stations in. We haven't totally gotten water bottles out, but we're working in that direction. We've got other things, though, that I think are just as important. We've gone out to our fire stations and our police stations and done a lot of the same things. And we're overall evaluating everything we do at the city. I think you're going to see us move to more renewable energy. I know later in the program you're going to have some people here from Gulf Power. I know NextEra brings to Northwest Florida some opportunities to really do some more renewable sources of energy. And as we move forward, we're going to look at those and how we can make ourselves more energy efficient. But I know that Brian has several initiatives that we're doing right now out in our other parts of the city that we're doing to work to make ourselves more earth friendly and more environmentally friendly.
Brian, you told me there are 93 parks in this area. That, if you were to ask me, I probably would have said, oh, maybe 40. That's incredible.
Yeah, we're actually blessed to have so many parks, 93 within the city limits. The county has another 100 or so parks, so Escambia County and the City of Pensacola are truly blessed to have so many green spaces. The great thing about our parks is 97% of our citizens live within a half a mile of parks, so they can walk there. One of the things the mayor has mentioned about his transition report is there's a walkability and bikeability component, and we think that that'll help reduce some of the vehicle traffic and things that go along with that impact the earth as well. So we're looking forward to some of those things coming into play and getting a complete streets initiative person on board in the planning department or wherever that may be. But in the park system, we're looking at LED lighting. We're looking at how we can take our yard debris that we collect from our trees that we take down and that come down and that we have to haul off instead of taking them to the landfill. We're taking them to a local company now who is grinding that up, and we're reusing it as mulch and safety surfaces for our playgrounds. So it's just spinning it back around and bringing it back around to the playground.
That's very exciting, some innovative things. I know at one point some of the parks had like some recycled rubber or something. Is moving away from that?
Moving away from the recycled rubber, it gets into our waterway systems and our drainage systems, and we're not fans of that. So we do have some rubber that's poured in place that stays there, but the chipped rubber, we're trying to get away from that more and more. We've got 1 or 2 parks that still have it, but we just moved Bryant Park away from that. We just put wood chips in there the other day. So
I imagine it's a big, big, big job keeping up with all of these spaces.
Well, it is, but I think overall it's about how do we begin to embrace things that we can do to lower everything. And I think one of the other things that Brian mentioned was walkability. We really want to focus on how we can make Pensacola a safer environment for walkers, pedestrians, and bikers, how we can encourage mass transportation usage. All these things we'd like to do that begin to move people away from the way we've consumed things in the past to the way we really need to do things in the future. But part of that is, I mean, just last night I had an appointment I had to go to from City Hall that was probably about 5 blocks, and you know, there are times where you might have thought, hey, I'll get in the car, I'll drive there. And I said, well, I'll just walk there, and it's a much nicer, much nicer experience. And the fact that you can walk with your phone, you can still be productive, but you can do it because you shouldn't be texting or doing anything else when you're driving. So you can walk and do that. But again, these are the kind of things we want to encourage people to do, and we are very aware that we have some real needs to make things safer for pedestrians. So I think that's another initiative. One of those initiatives we've moved up in the priority list that we're really trying to address. But I do think you're going to see some other things that come out of there that we do begin to address, renewables and some other opportunities for us to be participatory with. But I think the other part is just exciting is just Earth Day itself. And I know you're going to talk later on to some people that are ready for April 20th, that Saturday, to have a lot of big events. Certainly from the city standpoint, we're certainly happy to support those events as they move throughout the day to make us aware of what we all can be doing for the Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. To talk about all the different people that want to utilize some of the city spaces for things such as Earth Day.
Well, Earth Day is in Seville Square this year. It previously was held at Bayview Park, so we're excited to have it downtown at Seville. We're also on the 26th, coming up is Arbor Day for the United States, so we're celebrating that on the 26th. So we'll be planting some trees and giving some trees away. And then the 13th, I believe, is our Easter egg hunt celebration also. So we do all the permitting for special events. So we get all that kind of interaction with the citizens every day, and they're always wanting to do something in the park. Cookouts, neighborhood events. The mayor talked about walking those 5 blocks. That would take me about 8 minutes. It takes him about 30 because everybody stops him along the way and talks. But we want to encourage walking. Infield's coming downtown. We have more parks all over town. We just added 2 or 3 downtown that Bruce Beach just opened up. So we're looking forward to continue to improve them as we go.
These are big messages. Like, you have to get into each person's mind, really. You can say, well, we want to make it more walkable, but in the end it comes down to getting that message into somebody's mind.
I think some of it is behavior changing, which does take a little bit more time, but we've got to do things that make people feel safer, and if we do that, I think we'll get there. I look at one of the things that I think the city has done, over the last 20 years, something that's been a little silent, but it has made a tremendous impact on water quality, is the move we made to begin to put in the assessment for stormwater that we did, and the improvements that we made to stormwater. It has really improved water quality dramatically throughout all of our estuaries. I certainly I love to paddleboard in Bayou Tahar, and you see seagrass coming back into the mouth of Bayou Tahar. You see things happening again because we've taken steps to improve. So I tell people all the time, there used to be this belief that you couldn't do development and environment at the same time, and I think we've got to. We're human beings. We live in a developed environment, but we can find ways to make that developed environment not incompatible, rather compatible with the natural environment. We can do a better job, and I think we're showing that we can do that with where I see our water quality going. And I think there's so many things exciting as we move forward with other water quality initiatives that I think it's going to only improve from here.
So you're working with ECUA on that, right?
We have been. We've done some things with ECUA. We've also done some things with the county. I think there's a better cooperation going forward with both partners. Certainly, ECUA is bringing in more opportunities to bring sewer to areas. We're doing things with stormwater. The county's doing things with stormwater. all of those things have a big impact on our water quality. Again, the more we can try to contain those things, have opportunities for either catchment basins or retention ponds that allow some of those things that we don't want to get into our bays and bayous. If we can stop them there and get them from our creeks, we'll be better off. I think one of the more exciting ones is what's going to happen with Carpenter's Creek and some of the initiatives, and I really appreciate Councilwoman Sherri Myers has been very passionate about Carpenter's Creek, and she has several initiatives that we're going forward with the county. One of the Restore projects, and it's going to be in the city, it's going to be implemented, but I think that is going to it's going to do two things. It's going to bring people to the natural resource better, but it's also going to protect the natural resource better. So we've got a lot of things that are happening in Pensacola, and we're excited about where the future is going to take us, but we've got a lot of opportunity in front of us, and we're going to be improving our natural environment.
Very exciting. And then once it's improved, you get to make sure it stays that way,
That's right. I'll tell you something that's really been a blessing for the city is our Public Works Department and what they're doing with stormwater parks now. Instead of the old fenced-in big deep holes that you see with litter everywhere, they've taken like Admiral Mason and Corrine Jones and Bill Gregory and turned them into beautiful ponds with sidewalks that go around and benches. Totally beautiful atmosphere, but it's still doing the same work. And so those are just true assets that Derek Owens and the Public Works Department have done for
I
the
bet,
city.
Brian, most people don't know about Bill Gregory right there off W Street,
Right.
and it is a beautiful, if you haven't had the chance to go look at it, go over there on W Street, just north of Garden, our Navy Boulevard right there.
That's right.
And it is a great little park. It has 2 baseball fields, but it has a nice little walking track around a beautiful retention pond. And that retention pond is what's helping save runoff that's eventually going to get into Bayou Chico right there.
Via Baggies Ditch. But it's also got an educational component with some kiosks and things. We also have our street stormwater park that that Derek and them have put in. So they're doing some great things down there in Public Works with stormwater.
That's fantastic. What are some other big things? Do you hear a lot from the community about the environment?
I mean, it certainly is one of those things. I think that's why we put it as it was a part of the transition team, because I think what people want is they want a clean environment. They want clean air. They want clean water. They expect these things to be happening and us to be moving forward in government. And I think, we're seeing that happen. I look at all these things. I look at our clean air that we've been able to move dramatically down, but we still have a long way to go in emissions, and we want to continue to improve all of those things. So, there are a lot of things that we've got to do, but, I'm optimistic we're going to get there. It's all about, I think the other part is it's about making incremental differences, and I think what you're doing here today with the awareness, Sherri, I really appreciate it, because as you said, each one of us has our own little part, and if we do little bits, those little bits will eventually add up. We have 325,000 residents in Escambia County. If everyone does a little bit, we'll have a big difference.
I think that's key, and when they're at a park, they can maybe clean up some trash.
That's right. Pick it up, throw it in the trash can, and use less water bottles, use less plastic grocery sacks. Everybody can do a little bit.
Okay, well, we are at the end of this segment. I thank both of you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for the good things you're doing for our community. We're going to change up our guests a bit and continue our discussion after these messages. We'll be joined by some of the organizers of the Earth Day celebration in Pensacola. When inStudio continues, you're watching WSRE TV. Stay right here. This is In Studio on WSRE TV, PBS for the Gulf Coast. Our topic, making Earth Day every day. The official Earth Day holiday is April 22nd, but in Pensacola, the celebration takes place on Saturday, April 20th. With us now, two of the organizers of this popular annual event. Eric St. Pierre. Eric is the general director of this year's Earth Day festivities. Eric is a business owner and licensed massage therapist who has a passion for people and the planet. Eric has served on the Earth Day Committee for some 12 years. And Ric Kindle. Ric is the music director for Pensacola's Earth Day celebration. He's also on the Earth Day Committee. Ric's the owner of Live, Raw Juice Bar, and more. Ric, too, cares deeply for Mother Earth and the people who inhabit her. Ric's business provides raw food and live music for our community, and he's been sharing that knowledge with Earth Day Pensacola organizers for the past 12 years as well. So welcome to both of you gentlemen. So we've got a big Earth Day celebration coming up in how many days?
9 days,
All right.
Sherri.
Yeah.
9 days, just around the corner.
So you've been working hard on this.
We have. We usually start organizing about 6 months out. Yeah.
Well, I called Ric about it because I knew he was always involved with it every year, and he was in a planning meeting with all of you, so the timing worked out well to have you come on and tell us about it. Ric, it's changing this year from one place to another.
Yeah, we'll be down at Seville Park as opposed to in Bayview Park where it's been for 15, 20 years. The Bayview Park is going through some construction. They're rebuilding the I guess it was a gymnasium. They're making a community center, kind of like the one that's the other one they have in town here.
Okay.
At Saunders Beach. So it's going to be a nice new building. So for this year, they offered us Seville Park, and I think it's a good fit.
Good, good. Well, it's been in Seville Park in the past, too,
Yes,
right?
I believe that's where it started,
Yep.
actually. And yeah, I mean, fate really worked out for us this time around because I think Seville Square is a great location. It's more central than Bayview Park is. It's more condensed, and we'll get a lot of great foot traffic. People who wouldn't normally come to a festival like this, and that's really been our goal year after year, is to not so much preach to the choir, but inform people who don't already have a general passion or interest about environmental issues.
I think that's great because, as you said, people will just be walking by, and we know who will be at the Earth Day Festival. We see the same people all the time, but it's wonderful to bring new people in and bring their children, right?
Now that's the whole idea, is getting the kids involved, and we have a children's organizer who does activities with the kids, and they're all earth-friendly, you know, and kind of earth-centered to create awareness with the kids, because that's where you got to start. You know, if kids grow up with that knowledge, then it becomes part of their lifestyle. You know, as adults, sometimes we have to think about what we're doing and not using a plastic straw, or you know, making a plan when we drive. You know, have a route to where we're not backtracking and using a bunch of gas. You know, I drive around town a lot, but I try and keep my time, you know, organized where I'm not spending as much time in the car.
I do that too. You make a route, and you make sure you're not going. And it's just little things like that, like you said, that add up and become second nature.
Yeah, that's right. And it's good to teach the kids early so that when they become adults, it is, like you said, second nature. And Beth Stubbs is our children's area organizer, and she does a lot of great hard work. And this year, the focus is on arts and crafts, sort of reusable stuff. The kids can come up and make a pledge to the earth that they can take home with them and keep on their little nightstand or whatever, and just as sort of a reminder. And we'll have our mascot, Mrs. Tree, there. Do we come up with a better name? I don't know.
We probably need Mrs. Tree.
Yeah,
Mrs. Tree,
the kids love that. It'll be fun.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, and so this year, there's a theme of energy, transportation and sustainability?
Right, and that's been our ongoing theme for quite a while now, because really those are the major ones. I mean, sustainability really is kind of an umbrella term that's that we decided to continue to go with. Yeah.
And you guys put a lot of your personal time in this. It's a volunteer position. I know it takes away from other things. Tell me, why is this important to you, Ric?
Well, I've done a lot of events over the years, and they've all been for a cause, you know. So I really enjoy the platform of being able to give back into the community about something I'm passionate about, you know, and you know, being conscious about what we do is having respect for the earth, you know. So to me, that's very important. It's just something that I feel that I'm lucky I'm able to do. I've been organizing the music for several years, and I'm blessed to know a lot of musicians. And this year, it just filled up. You know, it wasn't very little effort on my part. People called me and said, "Hey, I want to play Earth Day," so that was really nice.
That's great. Well, I want to hear some more about that. What about you, Eric? Why does it matter to you?
As you said in your intro, I'm very passionate about people on the planet, and something happens when you get people together who have a common cause, or at least a common motivation. And you know, it could be anything. It could be going to church. It could be going to a concert. It could, you know, anytime you get people together, something magical happens. And I just like being there to witness it, and being part of the group of people who brings it together. It's just very rewarding for me. And I love Pensacola, and boy, have we grown so much over the years, and I'm glad that Earth Day is a part of that. You mentioned that one of our themes this year is transportation. Well, we actually are going to have an electric car show that's going to be going on throughout the festival, and they're just local and regional electric car owners who like to get together and show off what they have, and we're looking forward to that.
That'll be great. People love car shows. Put some Mustangs out there, and this time it's electric cars and not European, but just
and volts.
And, how fun! And I pull up to Everman, and I see that they've got a place you can charge your car up.
That's right.
Someday we may all get to that point.
If they could just make a truck that's powerful enough to haul stuff.
To haul things. Yeah. Well, you're kind of an ultimate recycler here, and I have to say, you took an old garage and car wash and turned it into
a restaurant, live raw juice bar and more. So it's that building really to tear it down and build something else, it just wouldn't work. So we repurposed.
Yes.
We definitely repurposed. So Live is about sustainability through conscious eating leads to conscious living, and that's kind of been our statement, our mission statement. And just simple things like straws. The straws and all our to-go containers are all biodegradable. Went through a thing, everyone saw that video of the straw being pulled out of the poor turtle's nose in the ocean, and so there was a straw shortage for a little while, but now all you really can buy are paper straws. We're looking for reusable straws, so if somebody out there has reusable straws that they want, approach me with, we'll use those.
Be great to know. I was telling you, at Veg Fest recently, there were some really neat straw alternatives that were, I could tell.
It's just, I think the more people are able to consciously live, you know, just like using a stainless steel or a reusable water container, you know, then you're not just using plastic and throwing it away. All the plastic, all the oil that it took to make that and transport that water or whatever, using reusable things. You know, we have people who come in the restaurant all the time who bring their own containers, and I just want to give them like some kind of discount or something. I want to, because we're not having to use a recyclable or, you know.
Well, that speaks to the incentives too. You said you want to give them a discount. We're incentive. People need incentive and motivation to do things until there's a cultural shift. And you know, one might think like, well, if I just don't use a straw today, what is that really doing? But you know, if 1 billion people say that, it's doing a lot. And it more so, it's creating a conversation, which is what Earth Day is all about. Creating that conversation, creating that space where we can learn things we didn't know, have conversations with people we don't know, and create an eventual cultural shift. We know it's not going to happen overnight, but you know, 1,000 little acts of change and going in the right direction will,
it all makes a difference.
Exactly.
But people coming together and making a difference, and that's another big part of Earth Day to me is the community. You know, it's about building community and reaching across those community comfort zones where it might be not people that you normally hang out with, but then they can learn something. You know?
That's right. And as far as crossing communities into different comfort zones, especially in today's political climate, we just want to say that Earth Day is not a Democratic thing. It's not a Republican thing. It really is for everybody. Everybody should care about the environment. There are plenty of conservative groups who are environmentally focused, plenty of Democratic and nonpartisan groups that are are environmentally focused.
I think that's huge.
Yes.
And I appreciate you pointing that out, that it's not owned by any political
That's right,
party.
The idea is not owned by any one political party. That's right.
Just getting out there. Now, if I'm out for the day and I decide I want to go to Earth Day, tell me first of all some of the different kind of vendors that we'll see, and then we'll talk a little bit about the music.
Okay, absolutely. We have vendors from the region and the community. Everybody sort of focused on one aspect or another. Lots of businesses, lots of handmade items, lots of information on how in your own home you can reuse and recycle, and just different unique ways to approach that. And we have different food vendors. We're going to have a couple snow cone people out there. Yeah. We have End of the Line Cafe, who's been loyal to us and just a really great source of vegan food. And don't let that word vegan scare you. Okay, it's really delicious food. It really is. Give it a try.
Plants.
It means plants, exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, Ric's live juice bar will be there. And we're really excited about that.
Come out and have a healthy day. What about the music?
So this year, the music, as always, it starts at 11, and then we'll go till 4. At 11, we have Kara Swaltman. 12, we have the Hazes, which is a husband, wife, daughter. And then we have Lang Holloman, and then Patchouli, which is a touring act who is just driving through Pensacola, who called me, and Julie and I had tried to work out the Greater Good Festival years ago, and she's like, I remembered your name, and I was so happy. So we got Patchouli at 2, and then a local band called Yard Lights, which is Ben Bogan, one of Ben Bogan's projects. And so it's really, diversity is kind of a thing with me, so we have a very diverse musical lineup, and to me, I think it's another part of important getting the music out.
Indicative of the whole festival for everybody, right?
That's right. It is for everybody, and some more events going on inside of the event. We have yoga first thing. Well, not first thing in the morning, but right before the festival begins. So at 9 o'clock, we'll have yoga in the park, and then the last hour of the festival, so from 3 to 4, we'll also have yoga. We'll also have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu demonstration by 9th Avenue Gracie in downtown Gracie. So the kids will be out there on the mats and showing you their skills, and a healthy body is just as important as a healthy environment. So
absolutely, sounds like a fun day. Okay, we have a minute till we go to break, so I have to show everybody. Since we're talking about saving plastic, right? I bought this shirt from our friends down the road at 30A. It's made out of plastic bottles.
That is so cool.
And it's incredibly soft.
It's
surprisingly soft.
Yeah, and it's they call themselves dumpster divers. So as we transition away from plastic and into more sustainable items like your water bottle, we'll take those old things and turn them into nice soft T-shirts and shoes and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you. Is there a charge for anybody to attend the festival?
No, never. No,
Earth Day
absolutely
is free.
Yeah, feel free to make a donation though.
Yeah, Earth Day wants to be sustainable money-wise too.
So
it does cost money to do this.
Oh yeah, and if anybody wants to know more about it, they can go to the website.
We're always open for sponsors for next year's event.
Okay. EarthDayPensacola.com, right?
And sponsors, we have lots of people show up every year. So
okay, great, awesome. Thanks for coming in and talking about it. We'll see you there. More on Earth Day when inStudio returns. Our guests from Gulf Power will be discussing the latest, greatest advances in more earth-friendly energy. You're watching WSRE TV. We'll be right back. This is In Studio on WSRE TV, PBS for the Gulf Coast. Our topic, making every day Earth Day. With us now, representatives from Gulf Power Company. Brandi Gomez. Brandi is a communications specialist with Gulf Power. This is a role that allows Brandi to collaborate in creating engaging content for the company's internal and external audiences. Brandi enjoys telling stories through social media, and that's landed her the position of the company's go-to video gal during storm duty. Also with Brandi from Gulf Power, Christine Swails. Christine is a residential energy advisor and energy efficiency expert, subject matter expert. That's a lot to say. She's joining us to discuss Gulf Power's energy-saving programs, products, and services. And that is a lot to say because it's a lot to do, a lot to know. And before we get started, I have to say that your bio also says that you're kind of the residential millennial emoji expert.
The emoji expert. Hurricane Michael, I mean, we did a lot of social media response, and I think everyone on the communications team and those can recognize if an emoji's in our social media, chances are Brandi wrote it. So we do have fun with those.
So I guess you were using the little swirly one quite a lot.
Oh yeah,
and,
lightning bolts, swirly ones.
Yeah. Well, maybe you give them some creative ideas for some new ones. But both of you ladies, let's start out by telling people, I was a little confused. You've become a subsidiary of another company.
Yes, we are really excited. We are now a subsidiary of NextEra Energy. They're actually, a leading clean energy company based out of Juno Beach, near the Miami area. But what I want everyone to know is we're still Gulf Power.
Okay.
So a few people have said, you're NextEra Energy now. Yes, we're a part of the family, but we are still Gulf Power. We are the same people that you know and you love, and we are here to serve you just the same way. There's no changes for our customers. So, we're just really excited to be a part of this new family and move forward together to come up with new projects and new opportunities to give the best value and reliability to our customers.
Well, and the perception that I've heard from people out in the community is that this is a cleaner company and that's going to translate to good things for our area. Talk a little bit about that.
It is. NextEra Energy believes in renewable energy so much. They're the world's #1 producer of renewable energy for wind and sun. We're working on a few projects right now within solar, which is really exciting. I can't wait to tell more of our customers about it. And they're just huge supporters of the current solar fields that we have. So right now, for many customers, they don't know, we have 3 solar fields, 942 acres. It makes up 1.5 million solar panels, and they're located basically in our backyard. I mean, it's at Holly Field, Sofley Field, and the other one is at Eglin Air Force Base. So in December, we actually celebrated the 1-year anniversary of flipping the switch of those. So, we're doing everything we can to give our customers the best service, those other, energy options. And solar is really something that not only we're interested in, but NextEra Energy is a huge supporter of. So lots of exciting things in the works.
Most people don't know about that 1-year anniversary and what's been going on there and how it's going to benefit the area tremendously.
Oh, yeah, and they produce enough energy for 20,000 local homes. That's a lot of energy. So, I think that's just good to note.
Absolutely. So you get a lot of calls from customers and you help walk people through. Let's talk about what the #1 thing is people want to know about.
The #1 question I get when I go and talk to customers is, why is my bill so high? What I do and try and help them with that is tell them what uses the most energy in their home. And that's going to be #1 is going to be heating and cooling is their #1 biggest user of energy. The second thing in their home is going to be water heating. So both of those together account for 50% of their bill. So that's where I try to educate customers to try and reduce their bill in that way. What I do is I look at their heating and cooling unit or look at their thermostat, and see what temperature setting that they have. In the summertime, what we recommend, we tell people to set it at their comfort level, but for conservation purposes, we tell them to set it 78 degrees or higher if they could. For every degree below 78, the unit uses about 10% more energy. And
wow.
That's for in the summer. In the winter, what we recommend is 68. And again, anything below 68 or every degree below 68, again, it's another 10% more on your energy usage.
If you go on 68, if you go above 68 with the heating, it gets more expensive, right? Is that what we just said? So for every degree over 68 in the winter.
That's correct. Okay, yes,
right.
yes.
So if we pop the heat up because we're cold, it's
yes,
10% more.
It's 10% more. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Anything that produces heat is going to run that when your bill up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And swimming pools?
Swimming pools, yes, that is definitely going to be a big factor as well. Pool pumps, if you run it 24 hours a day, it's typically about $125 a month to run a pool pump. We do recommend getting what they call a variable speed pool pump. Instead of, for the same 24 hours, for a variable speed pool pump, it's going to drop it to maybe about $20 a month.
Wow.
So it's a huge difference.
Yeah,
yes.
It all adds up.
Yes.
And then you save money there and
yes.
Invest in some other, maybe the thermostats. You have a video that people can find out more. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they can go to our website, gulfpower.com, and look at that video on how to do an online energy audit. They can do that as well, but we also have, if they want somebody to come out to their home, we can do that as well too.
That's good to know about.
Yeah, that's something unique that we do. It's an energy checkup. So Christine actually goes out to customers' homes and looks at their current situation and tries to tell them solutions for easy things that they can fix in their home, or there may be some more difficult things that we have to tell them. But the goal in all of it is to help our customers get that lower bill that they're wanting. We know that there can be peaks in the summer. We really want to help customers just be proactive in fixing those issues ahead of time so they're not surprised by the high bills in the summer. And she was talking about the power of the thermostat. I think that is huge. It is something that I have to remind my grandmother of all the time, that there are, fans you can use, portable heaters. Now, of course, safety is always the top priority for Gulf Power. So we want you to be safe in that way, and don't leave the heater on when you're not in the room, or when you're not in the room, don't leave the fan on. So there's simple things like that. But can you talk a little bit about LED light bulbs? Because this is something that we're starting to transition in my house too.
Right, right. LEDs are very, very energy efficient. They don't produce a lot of heat, so they don't add heat to the house so that the unit, needs to work harder to remove that heat. But LEDs are, again, the top of the line, most energy efficient bulbs out there.
Are you finding people a little resistant to them, or are more people adopting them?
I think some of the houses that I've been to, they've told me that, they have been switching out, their incandescents to the LEDs.
Well, and we were just talking with the city who's talking about doing that in a lot of their buildings, because it really does all add up.
There are some projects. I will say, even as far as the street lights, we're starting to see more, those bright LEDs on the streets, and that's safer for the whole community. But also, it's cooler in your home when you use LEDs too. So you don't realize how much heat just comes off of a light bulb when you're not using LEDs. So that is, I think, one of the simpler things that you can do. It is an investment, but long term, it's going to save you money and it's going to help you on your energy bill.
Yes, definitely.
So they're cooler. They maybe cost a little bit more to start with, but they don't.
Less maintenance.
And what about, so really having, because my mother has a heater and she's very careful with it, but it allows her to stay a little bit warmer instead of warming up the whole house. So that is advisable?
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Space heaters, heated blankets. We tell, our customers in the winter, that's really the most cost-effective way for you to keep warm, but also not completely, have your bill skyrocket. And if you're just going to be staying in one closed-in area, that really is the most efficient way. So definitely, I always tell my grandma to do that, and she's been listening so far.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and what are some things that we can do to make our homes more energy efficient?
It's for your water heating. What we recommend as far as the temperature setting is 120 degrees. for your water heater. We also recommend getting a timer for it, because the water heater, you don't really need to have it heated all day long. It's just, you just need to have it ready whenever you need it. So with a timer, you can just set it to whenever, you would need to, take your showers, or whenever you would need to wash dishes.
So where do you get timers? Any home improvement stores?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you just maybe have it come on when you get home from work?
That's right. Yeah. And then, if you're gone for more than 3 to 4 days, you can, have that timer set, to turn off. And then just come back. When you come back, it takes about an hour, to heat the tank. So,
what about Energy Select? Is that still a thing, or is that going on?
Well, we do have that, and it is a programmable thermostat.
Okay.
And we do recommend programmable thermostats.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some neat thermostats, like it's called a Nest. There's a few different ones, but I was going to say, if you're looking for something that's more convenient, or you can program from your smartphone, I really want to get one of these for my house. You can look at the lighting in your house. You can change the temperature from your home. If you're going out of town, you can make sure that, it's like a check-in on your phone, easily accessible. So we recommend the smart thermostats. Definitely. For sure.
Yes.
Well, my son gave me a smart thermostat, and I need to watch the manual on it, because right now I'm just kind of using it like the old one, and I know there's a lot more to it than that, so I need to get that figured out. What about, you were mentioning insulation for the home.
Yes, Christine is the expert on insulation.
That sounds like a lot of trouble, but I would imagine it's worth it.
Yeah, what we recommend is what we call R38, and that's anywhere between 12 to 16 inches in the attic. So it doesn't need to be compressed. It just needs to stay fluffy, basically, in the attic. But that's a very efficient way to help save on your energy bill too, as well.
What about, we're coming into a season that we're not going to have any hurricanes this year, but
we can only hope.
What kinds of things would we do to prepare if we were to encounter such a situation?
It's always important to have that disaster preparedness kit. A lot of times we wait to the last minute. We live in Florida. We don't think about those things all the time until it's too late. So one thing we like to tell our customers now, especially, you've got those holidays coming up, like Memorial Day, where they do lots of sales at the home improvement stores. Go ahead and get yourself a Tupperware, stock up on the batteries, the flashlights, the portable radios, if people still use those. Those things, gallons of water, because the last thing you want to do is have a hurricane coming and you have to run to the store.
Right, right.
So those are the things we like to tell people to go ahead and get now. Another thing that's been a big tip we've been sharing with our customers is just to have those battery packs for your phone that you can charge the external batteries, because I think we all know we're very dependent upon our smartphones for information, and we want you to be able to use the Gulf Power app to check on any outages during a hurricane. So getting those types of things, even just going on Amazon now and getting it, so you're not waiting until
the last minute. Yeah. Well, we are about out of time. I want to thank you for coming. Your top tips for saving energy and making everyday Earth Day. It sounds like your company is working hard at that, and the solar is really incredible. So go online and check that out, right?
Yes, and give us a call. We're more than happy to walk you through that process.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll continue our discussion making everyday Earth Day. When we come back, we'll be joined by guests sharing some very creative uses for previously owned and loved items. You're watching inStudio on WSRE TV. Stay right here. This is In Studio on WSRE TV, PBS for the Gulf Coast. Our topic, how we can all help save planet Earth by making every day Earth Day. With us now, ladies who help make it easy for us to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Their businesses reuse and repurpose, and that helps reduce waste across the board. It's time now to get creative on In Studio. We have Vanna Smith. Vanna is the owner of Saturn Collection Vintage in Pensacola. Vanna's business focuses on fashion, wearing sustainably made clothing, and wearing pre-owned pieces. Vanna will share her knowledge on the very important topics of shopping sustainably and staying earth-friendly with our wardrobes. And Connie Arns-Keller. Connie is the Director of Retail Services for the Pensacola Habitat for Humanities ReStore. Connie has been in this role for about 7 years, and throughout her career, Connie has worked in marketing and business management in the private sector, but her heart has always been in nonprofits. She loves serving the Pensacola community through the ReStore and Habitat for Humanity. And you ladies are both serving this community in really cool, different ways, so I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come talk about that. We're going to talk specifically today about the ReStore's 3rd annual Repurposed Art Show and Auction, and also about how to be stylish and wearing things that have been around for a long time, reusing. Yes. So well, I don't even know where to start. There's so much fun stuff here to talk about. But let's just start out with the art show and telling us a little bit about ReStore and what goes on there.
Well, the ReStore is a specialty discount home improvement store and donation center. You may call it a thrift store, but we call it a discount home improvement store. We take donated items that people, whether they're residents, they're fixing up their home, have leftover materials, or businesses who have items that they no longer need, or they're remodeling and things like that, and they donate them. Of course, they get new life because someone else finds them and says, wow, I need that cabinet, or I need that light fixture, or that item to improve my home. We get wonderful donations of furniture, all kinds of great things to kind of improve your home. And we sell it, and the money goes right back to build homes, community, and hope through Pensacola Habitat.
That is the coolest idea. So originally people were bringing you stuff saying, could you put this in a home? And you figured out a better way to do it?
Right, yeah. Years ago, I don't remember who started it. It's probably been 30 years or so throughout Habitat's history. Folks were coming into the construction offices and saying, hey, I got a box of tile, or I got this one cabinet that didn't fit. And obviously you can't build a home on just one cabinet piecemeal. So somebody had the great idea to take all that wonderful, kindness and donated items and, hey, let's open a store. Let's repurpose those materials and use it to build homes and use the funds to build homes. That's
great.
What we do.
And we want to hear about the art show, but we also want to hear about Vanna's business. Vanna, it's really neat to see how fashions cycle back around.
Yes, completely. My favorite example of that is bell bottoms. So bell bottoms, as far as I know, were originally designed in the 40s for sailors. Sailors wore wide leg pants. I think something about helping them swim in case they went overboard on a ship. And then they came back in style in the 70s, which is the bell bottoms that most of us are very familiar with, only for a fashion accessory. And people in the 70s would often wear 40s bell bottoms because they were vintage then. And now we have bell bottoms coming back again, and people see it as sort of a 70s throwback, but a lot of people don't know it's actually a 40s throwback. Wow. That's just like my best well-known example of how fashion can just repeat itself over and over again.
Yeah, so I mean, and do you find that sometimes pieces that were made prior than today's times are sometimes a little better made?
Sometimes. It depends on the brand and, of course, the price of the piece that you're buying now. So today we have so many options for buying clothing. There's a lot of budget stores, and there's a lot of higher end stores, and right next to each other, one thing could look the exact same as the other. But some pieces, as you wear them, will be able to maintain their shape and how comfortable they are to wear, and they're just more strongly made, and that usually does depend on the price of the item. And that was even the case back then. whenever back then was, which is why today clothing that is older, that's still around, was more higher. It was the higher quality of that design.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and it's still around and people are,
Yeah.
are wanting to wear it. So now you take everything but clothing and then...
I mostly only take clothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So
We're going to work really well together.
yes, everything can be reused if it's well taken care of. One point you were making is that taking care of your garments is important.
I think it's really important to, we live in sort of a society that if a shirt loses a button, that we tend to just not wear that shirt anymore. We get rid of it. We buy a new shirt. Shirts are anywhere between, you know, you can buy a shirt at Old Navy for a few dollars or $10. I think it's really important if your clothing does get injured in some way or if something happens to it, to take a moment and repair it. Garments often come with, for example, extra buttons on the lapel or at the bottom of the line of buttons. There's usually an extra button or two. Take 5 minutes, learn how to use a needle and thread, and the first time you do it, it might take you a total of 10 minutes to sew a button on, but after that, you'll be a champion.
Nature. Well, and talking about having things reused, I understand, I haven't been in the new ReStore, but I understand people say it's not like your typical resale shop.
It's not.
Yeah. It looks more like a home improvement store?
Well, you know, I think it looks more like a consignment store.
Okay.
And we've had some comments from folks that'll walk in that have not been in a ReStore, or they've been in other thrift type stores, and they'll walk in and they'll stop and they'll look around and go, wow, is this a consignment store? And that is because we're getting really great donations. People are taking really good care of their items, even their home items or home furnishings and things like that. When they decide they don't want it anymore, they give it new life and they donate it to us. We are a little selective about that because some things can have a better, go on to have another life, and other things it's time for them to go away, you know, in some cases. But in most cases, there is some market for that item that, you know, you no longer want the gold finish on your fixtures. You've changed over to an old bronze. Well, there's someone out there that loves the gold finish light fixtures. So.
And that might come back in style one day. We don't know.
It has.
Yeah.
I think it has already.
I want to see one of these out. You've got a bunch of spring outfits that have been. Show me something that's really old. I mean, this is yeah.
So the oldest piece that I brought today is from the 1940s.
Oh, not. And what are we? How old is that?
That is
70 years
80,
old.
70.
Yeah. Wow.
It is this yellow dress here. It is a linen.
Oh, nice.
Button-up dress. It just buttons up from the waist up.
Yeah. Very cute. And you would see something like this hanging somewhere that wouldn't be as well made.
Yes.
So it's obviously come back around.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a dress that any stylish person could wear today, and no one would necessarily know that it was a vintage dress. It just depends on how it's styled.
I'm going to put it down here. We're getting really short on time, but I want to see another piece, and I want to talk about the art show that's coming up. Let's tell our viewers about that.
All right. Well, the art show, this is the third year. It is called our Repurposed Art Show and Auction. It's presented by, of course, Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, the ReStore, in partnership with Pensacola State College, the art students and the faculty there. And this year, it's our third year. We've added a couple of extra elements. One is we've invited the independent artists, and they'll be participating in that as well. The show goes from the 22nd through the 26th at the store. Years past, we held it on the PSC campus, but this year it's going to be at the store, Eastgate Plaza.
That's at 9th and Creighton.
Yes,
right?
at North 9th and Creighton. So a couple of different elements going on there. We've got the independent artists that are coming in. They're getting stuff from the ReStore. They're finding stuff in the community, and they're creating beautiful works of art out of repurposed items. The actual reception and auction is Friday, The 26th, April 26th.
26th
yes,
for the
Friday
reception
night,
there.
5 to 8.
And people can go to your website to find out
Yes.
some more information about that. And you're in an antique mall at 9th Avenue, and I want to see another piece, if you don't mind, while we're here, because it's just so fun. And so do you recommend that somebody donate pieces of clothing that they no longer want or don't have the inclination to sew a button on?
If you are done with a piece of clothing, then I recommend that you find a charity that can find the best use for it. So, for example, Habitat for Humanity does not take clothing, so they're the wrong charity for it. But there are lots of options in town that do take clothing and other housewares and things like that. So don't ever put your unwanted clothing in the trash can. That will just send it straight to a landfill, and then there's a lot of work involved to get that to be able to be reused, as opposed to taking it to a charity or a thrift store or a local shelter or a church. They can simply find someone that can make a use for it. That way another person can find a whole new life in something that has already lived a life with you, and you're done with it.
Wear it again and again and again, and housewares the same way.
Yes, lots of furniture, appliances, building materials, cabinets, things like that.
Decorations.
Yes. I mean, there's just so many things that can be reused and repurposed that that have a broad appeal. Folks that are updating their appliances, there's nothing wrong with that washer and dryer. They just wanted their latest, greatest, colors or styles. And they donate the working ones to us, and the money goes right back into building homes, community, and hope. So
and somebody gets a much better price than they would at full retail too. And for a resale situation, I would imagine it would depend on the piece, but a lot of times people can build their wardrobe for less.
Yes, completely. Buying things that have been pre-owned is definitely, I always think of a lot of people that are eco-friendly are also very budget-friendly. There's an extreme correlation there. Buying used items is very good on the wallets. It can really save you a lot of money, and no one, if you personally have something against wearing something used, no one would ever know. You can really find a great wardrobe among used items and great housewares. And
it's cleaned up.
It
and
is.
People that resell have a tendency to take great pride in what they're reselling. And so I'm going to have to stop in the ReStore, and I'm going to have to stop in Saturn Collection Vintage and see some of the great clothing there. So we've been showing pictures of some of the art. That's great, and we've taken a look at some of the pieces that you brought with us.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it. And we'll hope to visit with you again sometime.
Thank you.
Well, we've been discussing some of the ways to make Earth Day every day 365. Special thanks to all of our guests for their participation in this edition of inStudio. Remember, Earth Day in Pensacola is April 20th, and you can join in the festivities in and around Seville Square. More information on that can be found at earthdaypensacola.org. Now, with our attention on planetary wellness, it's a great time to think about how you, your family, friends, and businesses can cut waste. Having said that, we encourage you to support companies that are seeking to be more earth-friendly. It's important to be mindful of how our actions impact Mother Earth. Let's all do our part to make Earth Day every day. I'm Sherri Hemminghouse-Weeks. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on a future edition of inStudio. Until then, take care.